Breaking news right now at 11. A woman rescued after crashing her SUV into a river. We're hearing from the people who pulled her to safety. Plus, a final farewell to a fallen firefighter who died in the line of duty.
As a firefighter, Uncle Rob was a true legend.
The emotional goodbye as a community salutes a hometown hero. And fire danger continues to heat up tonight as crews battle dozens of brush fires. An update on the biggest blaze that's been burning for more than a week.
We are a part of the fabric and the history of America.
And rally backlash tonight, fallout after controversial comments were made at a Trump campaign event.
Now, Channel 3 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
And we begin right now at 11 with that breaking news tonight from Waterford, where a woman was rescued after driving right into the Niantic River. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Zinni. The Pinpoint News Tracker right here showing you where this happened at the intersection of Daniels Road and Niantic River Road. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Hector Molina is live at the scene with the latest on what's happening. Hector?
Well, Mark, neighbors tell me it was a scary moment that could have been much worse if it weren't for the quick thinking of emergency crews and neighbors here in Daniels Avenue. Now, police tell us that this Dodge SUV that you see on your screen was driven by a woman here on Daniels Avenue. She drove it over the guardrail and into the Niantic River just around 8 o'clock this evening. Now, police say that the 46-year-old woman who was the driver of that car is now in the hospital and being treated for minor injuries. Police say she's safe due in large part to emergency crews and a team of Good Samaritans who helped pull this woman out of the water. We spoke exclusively with the husband, wife, and another neighbor who helped rescue a woman who ended up being a family friend. They said the crash happened right outside their front door. They said the crash was one of the loudest noises they ever heard. Once they heard the boom, they went out more than 100 feet from shore to help save the woman's life.
Just jumped in, and then these two ladies followed me, and we got as close as possible to her, and we saw that she was conscious, tried to speak her, comfort her, and I removed our seatbelt. We took her out of the water and brought her to safety.
I've never seen anything like that in my entire life, so it being right outside of our house was like, and we knew her, which is even worse. God, my husband pulled her out in time before the police got here.
Yeah, talk about being in the right place and doing the right thing at the right time. Now, police tell us that no one else was hurt in the rescue, and they are still investigating this crash. In Waterford tonight, Hector Molina, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Incredible what they did, Hector. Thank you. Some developing news we're following right now, all night tonight, in fact, in Litchfield, after a fuel truck rolled over. It happened at the intersection of Route 118 and 254. No one was hurt, but crews had to offload all the fuel from the truck so they could then tow the vehicle away. There was also a small fuel spill, which was cleaned up. The cause of the crash is still under investigation, but the road is back open tonight. The latest now on the high fire danger here in Connecticut. Right now, in fact, crews keeping an eye on 50 brush fires all across the state. The biggest fire still burning on Lamentation Mountain in Berlin. Tonight, crews there telling us the firefighters were able to make some progress today, but they expect to remain on the mountain for at least another week or two. In the meantime, there's a statewide burn ban in state parks to help prevent more fires.
That ban applies to state parks, to forests, and to wildlife management areas. And this prevents any open flame, campfires, burning, and so on.
Now in East Lyme, crews will stay through the night on the scene of a brush fire that continues at Wasagachi Hills Nature Preserve there. We are told, though, that fire was contained earlier in the day.
And we still have elevated fire weather concerns basically heading forward in time, given how dry it has been, how dry the air is. We've got the leaf drop, of course, as we're making our way through the leaf peeping season. So any fire that were to start could again spread. But the one silver lining like today for tomorrow is that the wind is not going to be terribly strong. You can see it around 5 to 10 miles an hour and becoming more southerly. That's going to be the case as a warm front heads in our direction, eventually sending much warmer air into Connecticut. We have limited, slim chances for rain over the next 7 days. So the big headline otherwise in the near term is a warming trend that brings us to our first alert weather day for Thursday, given the fact we are forecasting record warmth for the 31st of October, forecasting 83 for the Hartford area, the record's 82, and also forecasting the Bridgeport record to be surpassed by a degree. So meanwhile tonight, we are scanning dry across southern New England. We've got a warm front that's going to be on the approach tomorrow, so a cloudier Tuesday, perhaps a sprinkle or two toward and past sunset. Otherwise, we'll be heading to a local polling place for early voting when they open at 10 o'clock. You may need that jacket, especially inland with temperatures in the 40s, and like today, only reaching the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Much more on that record warmth and a little bit more in the way of a rain chance as we kick off the month of November come Friday. That's ahead in the First Alert 7 day.
A final farewell for a fallen firefighter. Robert Sharkovich Sr. died battling the Hawthorne fire in Berlin last week. Today he was laid to rest. Friends and family packed the Cathedral of St. Joseph in Hartford to say a final goodbye. Sharkovich spent 25 years as a Hartford firefighter, followed by 22 years as a volunteer firefighter in his hometown of Wethersfield.
His reputation was impeccable. The people that came up to me and Robbie sharing their stories was daily and made us so proud. I've always aspired to be even half of the firefighter he was.
Now, before the funeral this morning, people lined the streets of Wethersfield as his body was taken to the church. People showed up to remember a man who meant so much to his family and the community.
He gave us a great example of being a servant leader, and that's what I talk to my boys about a lot.
Sharkovich also worked for Wethersfield Public Schools. They were all closed today so families and students could pay their respects. To Hartford right now, where firefighters battled a big fire that broke out in a multifamily home. This was this afternoon here on Russ Street. Flames engulfed the back of the house just after 3 o'clock. Only one person was home at the time. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Firefighters say a big challenge, though, was keeping the fire from spreading to the neighboring buildings. New tonight, it has been 1 year since visiting nurse Joyce Grayson was found murdered in Willimantic, and tonight she is being remembered. Grayson was just doing her job that day, performing a home visit at a state-run halfway house when police say her patient, Michael Reese, killed her. Since then, some new legislation has been created. There's more security to keep home health care workers safe, and the Grayson family is now suing both the state and Grayson's employer.
It's complete and utter hell today. I mean, the family is, really struggling. It's a horrible day and a horrible memory of everything that happened a year ago.
We have tried to do the best that we can at this time, and we are willing to go as far as we have to, but we have done a very comprehensive, very important bill, and perhaps one of the best one in the country at this time.
Grayson was a foster mother and very active in her community. She would be 64. Also in eastern Connecticut, a man under arrest accused of sexually assaulting a 5-year-old child. 28-year-old Thomas Kosman of Putnam facing a long list of charges after turning himself in this morning. Plainfield police say the incident happened 10 years ago, but was only recently reported. Details on the case remain sealed. Turning right now to campaign 2024, Election Day, just 1 week coming up from tomorrow. Tonight, both candidates crisscrossing battleground states, making their closing arguments. Kamala Harris rallied in Ann Arbor, Michigan, while Donald Trump held a rally in Atlanta. But it's Trump's rally last night in New York City that's still causing some controversy right now. A comedian called Puerto Rico a, quote, floating island of garbage. Channel 3's Owen Kingsley has more on the backlash, including an interview with a local man who was there.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Right when he finished that joke, I told my girl, Mommy, this is going to go viral.
Sunday at Madison Square Garden was Juan Ortiz's first Trump rally. Born in Puerto Rico, he now lives in New Britain.
It was a stupid joke. People have got to understand that it was a comedian.
The Trump campaign is distancing itself from Hinchcliffe and the joke he made, saying it does not reflect Trump's views. Ortiz is inclined to believe that Donald Trump was unaware of that joke before it was made.
He knows there's a big Puerto Rican population in there. You think that if he knew that was part of his script, he was going to allow that?
They know how Latinos can sway votes. And now we need them. So to my Latinos, vote, because we now know what they think of you.
Kay Munoz with the Connecticut Hispanic Democratic Caucus is just one of several Hispanic and Latino groups who are outraged.
I was disgusted. We are important because we are a part of the fabric and the history of America.
Connecticut's 5th District candidates are weighing in too. Republican George Logan, who has not said whether or not he is voting for Trump for president, posted on X Sunday night in part. Connecticut's 5th Congressional District is the vibrant community we love, thanks in large part to the contributions of our Puerto Rican friends and neighbors. Sadly, we continue to experience racist, degrading comments across the political spectrum, and they must be called out and shut down. His opponent, Johanna Hayes, said in a statement, every person, not just the Puerto Rican community, should be both saddened and upset by the behavior at this Trump rally. I continue to struggle to understand attempts to normalize this behavior by those supporting someone seeking the highest office in government. I'm Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
E. coli concerns following a deadly outbreak involving McDonald's. Brand new details from investigators about what caused dozens to get sick. New rules to help you land a refund if your flight's canceled, when to get your money back from the airlines.
People would ask me, like, why are you still there? Why aren't you a head coach?
And Only on 3, looking back at 40 years with the Huskies with Channel 3's Aaron Connolly. A one-on-one interview with UConn women's basketball assistant coach Chris Daly.
Tomorrow, I've got your first alert to crashes and alternate routes.
Be morning ready with First Alert Traffic, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
This is Cowed Rug's 70th anniversary, 70 years. It started with our grandfather. Our father, Abe, made Cowed Rugs a household name. Now it's our turn. Come to Cowed Rugs during our 70th anniversary. Save up to 50% on every rug. And save big on our broadloom, luxury vinyl, and fine wood flooring, too. All on sale for this special anniversary. Cowed Rugs, always the best quality at the lowest prices for 70 years. 70 years and counting.
If you have lingering pain and you want to eliminate it, call New England Spine and Disc today. Dr. Carpanos uses exclusive technology to provide a non-surgical, safe solution. No dangerous drugs, no risky surgery. Call for your consultation today.
Giving you more time to prepare. This is why Channel 3 First Alerts.
From fun to frightening, avoiding a bounce house disaster, and why some are breaking the law to get their medicine.
Getting answers on the next Investigate TV Plus.
Tomorrow morning at 9:30 on Channel 3.
New Englanders know that for towing, hauling, plowing, your New England Ford dealers are your truck headquarters. For a full lineup that can handle any kind of job, in any kind of weather. Ford F-Series, including F-150 and Super Duty. America's best-selling trucks for 47 straight years. See the #1 trucks and brand loyalty at your New England Ford dealers. Get 3.9% APR for 60 months plus up to $4,000 cash or lease for $299 a month for 24 months.
Nothing like it, but as seasons change, being the most accurate with your First Alert matters. Count on Channel 3 First Alert Weather.
This week on The Late Show, Steven Scott, Robin Wright, Seth Meyers, Karen Culkin, Nicole Schertzinger, and Tom Hanks.
That is a true story.
New this week on CBS.
An investigation continues after a suspected terror attack in Israel on the heels of a wave of airstrikes against military targets in Iran. One man was killed, dozens more were hurt when a truck rammed into a bus stop near Tel Aviv. It comes after Israel launched airstrikes in retaliation for Iran's attack earlier this month. Experts say tensions are still very high right now for a possible regional war. Tonight, CIA Director Bill Burns is back in Qatar to try to restart talks between Israel and Hamas. Hamas. McDonald's right now bringing the Quarter Pounder back to all its restaurants this week after that deadly E. coli outbreak. The company pulled the popular burger after 75 people got sick. One of them died. McDonald's said a test of the beef patties found no sign of infection, and tonight the USDA said the beef is fine. The FDA believes slivered onions from a single supplier caused the problem, and McDonald's is confident the contamination has been removed from the supply chain. But for now, the Quarter Pounders will come without the onions at the affected restaurants. So far, there have not been any illnesses linked here to Connecticut. U.S. Airlines now required to refund passengers for a significantly delayed or canceled flight. The new rule actually went into effect today. Some airlines previously gave out vouchers to passengers if problems occurred with their flight, but a new federal rule changed all that, and airlines must now give passengers cash refunds. The rule change comes just weeks before the busy holiday travel season gets underway. Well, tonight, the Bronx Bombers are trying to bounce back in the World Series. Game 3 is underway right now in New York City. The Dodgers are up 4-0, but today plenty of fans headed there from Connecticut. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland caught up with some of them.
Yankee fans all geared up and ready to go for Game 3 of the World Series.
We haven't been in the World Series since 2009. I'm a grown-up now. I got a little bit of money to spend, so I invited the whole family, even my dad, and I said, hey, let's make it happen. And once time in a lifetime. So let's go.
Felix Soto grew up in Connecticut and lives in Orlando now. But with his team in the World Series, he wasn't going to miss it. And neither was his dad.
Fantastic, because like he said, it's my first time in 76 years.
They and other Yankee fans hopping on one of 2 Metro North Yankee Clipper trains, leaving New Haven's Union Station for a direct trip to the Bronx.
We're Yankee fans. We live in Rhode Island, but we drove in, and we're going to take the train.
A special night for Eli Hyams and his 11-year-old son, Sebastian.
It's pretty cool, skipping school and being able to come down here and just be able to go to a Yankee game, World Series.
And while there's plenty of pinstripes, we also spotted a little Dodger blue.
I went to a ball game in 1956 at Brooklyn, and I've been a Dodger fan since then.
Longtime Dodger fan John Gerard getting to share this experience with his grandson Alex.
Last week I called my grandmother. I was like, okay, if the Dodgers get it to the World Series, I'm going to buy his tickets. Well, he taught me to throw a baseball, so I thought I might as well take him.
And while Dodger fans are hoping for a sweep, these Yankee fans say they have another thing coming.
I think we're going to be able to get a couple wins and go back to L.A. and win it in L.A.
Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The 19th annual Capitol Catwalk to benefit Dress for Success Hartford drew hundreds of people to Hartford stage tonight. Channel 3 personalities, community leaders, all strutting their stuff for a great cause. Channel 3's Kara Sunland was the MC as always. The event's expected to raise more than $80,000 to help women in the greater Hartford area with professional clothing and job coaching. The Denise DeCenzo Success Award was also given to the Catwalk honoree this year, Merlin Drew.
All right, we've been giving you the first alert to a big warm-up. In fact, now a first alert weather day for what could be the warmest Halloween in 119 years. That's as long as records have been kept for the Hartford area. The current record for this Thursday stands at 82 from 1946. So warm weather is certainly on the way. This first alert weather day, as we head into Thursday, our warming trend peaks with temperatures well into the 80s inland, well into the 70s along the shoreline, to the point where records will likely be broken. The month of October, of course, as we've been highlighting over the past several days and weeks, on track to be one of the driest on record. It's been 2 weeks since we've had measurable rain. The total so far for the month, less than half an inch. It's the 3rd driest, and that's how we will likely end the month. We have the chance for a couple sprinkles late tomorrow evening. Certainly nothing meaningful. Meanwhile, we've got temperatures this evening quickly dropping from the 50s to the 40s now into the 30s, especially across the hills of Northwest and Northeast Connecticut. 42 in Hartford, and quite a spread along the shoreline. 43 Groton to 55 in New Haven. So these temperatures drop a little bit more. Our winds are calm and our sky is clear, but cloud cover tends to increase as we head toward daybreak as that push of warmer air begins working in our direction. So where I can view right now from Waterbury, 43 degrees and a tranquil scene looking live from southeast Connecticut and Mystic. So as high pressure moves offshore, our winds become more southeasterly tomorrow, and we've got this cold front moving to the northern plains in advance of that, the warm front arriving later tomorrow. So for tomorrow afternoon, mid perhaps upper 50s through the hills of Litchfield counties. 57 for Goshen as well as for Thomaston, 56 Winsted. In and around the greater Hartford area, mid and upper 50s. The quiet corner of northeast Connecticut, mid 50s there. For communities along the shoreline, as we head farther west, they'll tend to go up just a bit. So for Niantic, 58, 60 Madison, 62 for Branford. Meanwhile, inland, we've got upper 50s and low 60s. So first alert futurecast showing by tomorrow evening this warm front heading in our direction. So tomorrow certainly a cloudier day compared to what we experienced today across Connecticut. Any sort of beneficial rain likely staying to our north, moving from New York into Vermont and New Hampshire tomorrow night. Again, maybe a couple sprinkles here across southern New England, enough perhaps to wet the ground. And then that's all certainly done and over by daybreak on Wednesday. Increasing sunshine for our Wednesday with dry weather and temperatures trending in the upward direction. Here's a look at Wednesday. Forecast high temperatures well into the mid 70s inland, lower 70s along the 95 corridor. Fast forward to Thursday afternoon when our warming trend peaks for Halloween. Forecasting again 80 or higher for many communities inland, well into the mid 70s along the 95 corridor. So for trick-or-treaters, as we head toward and past sunset, of course, on Thursday evening, you won't need the rain gear. You certainly will not need the extra layers, as it is going to be very warm, unseasonably so. In fact, our overnight lows by Thursday night, early Friday, more in line with our average high temperatures for this time of year. We do have the chance for a couple of showers on Friday morning with the arrival of another cold front. Maybe a tenth or 2/10 of an inch of rain. Again, nothing that's going to be drought busting or really erode any deficits. Increasing sunshine Friday afternoon, also becoming breezy, low 70s. Upper 50s near 60 on Saturday. Sunday, lower 60s, dry and bright for both weekend days. Daylight saving time officially comes to an end this weekend, and by Monday of next week, trending milder again, highs in the low and mid 60s.
All right, Mark, thank you. Still ahead, a serious infection now on the rise in kids. What parents need to know about walking pneumonia as cases climb.
Fall in Connecticut, there's nothing like it. But as seasons change, being the most accurate with your first alert matters. It's cold and rainy one day, sunny and warm the next.
That means you need to be prepared. Plan your day with the Channel 3 First Alert Weather Team, alerting you to severe and changing weather with the state's only live First Alert radar, so you know whether to dress light or if you need a raincoat.
As the seasons change, accuracy matters. That's why you count on Channel 3 First Alert Weather.
Local, just delivered this morning.
Bell & Evans, air chilled.
Wild caught.
USDA prime.
Jumbo.
Stuffed.
Treat yourself.
You deserve it.
Okay, pound of shrimp and 4 of those ribeyes, please.
Surf and turf.
Nicely done.
Team in Farmington with positions open as a CNC mill setup operator, screw machine programmer setup operator, or quality inspector. Enjoy competitive pay, great benefits, and a 401k. Apply today at ramco.com.
I'm George Logan. Last election, I asked you to vote for change. We came so close. Now, everything is more dangerous and expensive, so I'm asking again. The other side offers nothing but attack ads that darken my skin and outright lie to scare you. But America can do better. If you trust me with your vote, I'll bring people together and give working families safer neighborhoods and a fair chance at the American dream. I'm George Logan, and I approve this message.
We invite you to check Vashon for the best price, check Vashon for the best staff, and check Vashon for the best service. Start your experience at checkvashonbuickgmc.com, where our name means a great deal.
Know first when the weather will impact you. Get the first alert only on Channel 3.
Pulmonary infections happen when a virus, bacteria, or fungus invade the lungs, causing inflammation. And the CDC said the illnesses are actually making more children sick this fall. Channel 3's Mandy Gaither has a look at the latest data.
In parts of the U.S., RSV is on the rise, especially in young children. Cases of pertussis are 5 times higher than they were at this time last year. And now an alert from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention about a surge in cases of walking pneumonia, particularly among preschool-age children.
This wave began a little earlier and is much, much higher than what we expect from previous years.
Dr. Frank Esper with Cleveland Clinic Children says symptoms of this milder lung infection can last for weeks and may include a cough, low fever, and muscle aches.
It's typically caused by several different types of bacteria, but the most common one is called mycoplasma. And this is an old friend with pediatricians and adult physicians alike.
Esper says penicillin and amoxicillin, the antibiotics typically used to treat pneumonia, don't seem to work with walking pneumonia, so a different antibiotic regimen may be needed instead.
That antibiotic most commonly is azithromycin, also known as a Z-Pak by many people out in the community. And that actually does treat walking pneumonia very well.
Esper says those who are sick can help slow the spread of any illness by covering coughs and sneezes, by washing hands, and by staying home if you're sick.
Chicken soup yourself back up to good health and then go out afterwards.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Still ahead tonight, an exclusive one-on-one with UConn assistant coach Chris Daly, what she's telling our Aaron Connolly about coaching alongside Gino Auriemma.
Listen, I had days after Sandy Hook I feared we'd never beat the gun lobby. But after Uvalde, I knew for my kids, for every kid, I was done accepting no. So I went to work, I pleaded, I fought, I defied the odds to pull together Republicans and Democrats to pass the first major gun safety law in 30 years. I'm Chris Murphy. I'm a senator, a neighbor, a dad. I approve this ad because I will do whatever it takes to keep our kids safe.
Raymore and Flanagan's Veterans Day sale is on now with savings up to $1,300. Don't miss unbeatable deals like $1,300 off the Carson Power Sectional, $900 off the Coventry bedroom set, and $750 off the Castleton dining set. Plus, get it before the holidays with delivery in 3 days or less on thousands of items. You can also save big on top mattress brands or take advantage of financing and pay no interest for 72 months. Grab Veterans Day savings today at Raymore and Flanagan.
Laminate floors can take a beating and still look great. Now at National Floors Direct, you can get an entire room of laminate flooring installed the next day for just $555 and no interest for 1 year. Call 888-400-FLOOR. We'll bring the store to your door.
I'm Johanna Hayes, and the best part about my job is making a difference for families in Connecticut. Delivering results, getting our babies fed, honoring our veterans, lowering everyday costs, protecting our environment, and our right to choose. So much is still at stake. We have to finish the work. But I can't do it without you. I'm Johanna Hayes. I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote. Let's do this.
Rain moving toward the Hartford area.
We could be dealing with wind gusts this afternoon.
Your first alert to heavy rain and frequent lightning. We're expecting thunderstorms. That First Alert weather app, a great tool to keep on hand for the rest of the day.
When you're in an accident, things happen fast. Memories fade, evidence disappears. It can happen in an instant. For example, what color is my suit? What about my tie? See what I mean? It's hard to remember the details even seconds after they've changed. After an accident, don't wait. Call Trantolo and Trantolo. We'll help you preserve the evidence and get you what you deserve. Trantolo and Trantolo. Let our family help your family.
Think about what's at stake this election. For mothers, daughters, all of us, our health, our freedom. Everything is at risk because George Logan and Donald Trump have a plan for us, enacting Trump's Project 2025. They'd ban abortions nationwide, even in the case of rape and incest. And they'd track our pregnancies for potential prosecution. That's George Logan's plan for us, and that's what's at stake.
I'm Johanna Hayes, and I approve this message.
Choice for in-depth coverage on election night. Channel 3, delivering live CBS News national reporting starting at 8 p.m. Plus complete local coverage, live in prime time on the WAX and streaming on WFSB+. Chief Capitol reporter Susan Raff, the Eyewitness News team, plus Channel 3's Washington Bureau, combining for unmatched coverage of the local issues and races as they unfold. Eyewitness News, Connecticut's Campaign 2024 authority on election night.
The Connecticut Sun parted ways with head coach Stephanie White today. They did not give a reason, but thanked the coach for her time in Uncasville. The Chicago Sun-Times, though, is citing multiple sources that say she could be heading to the Indiana Fever. No comment from White about the chances of that happening. White did lead the Sun to a 7-7 postseason record and 2 appearances in the WNBA semifinals and won AP Coach of the Year last year. Turning now to an Eyewitness News exclusive tonight, UConn women's basketball coach Chris Daly, of course, has been a staple in stores. This year, she is celebrating her 40th season with the UConn women's basketball team. Channel 3's Erin Connolly sat down with her this afternoon to get some insight into her career.
Well, Mark, her name is Chris Daly, but to many, she is simply known as CD. And during her time at UConn, CD has helped the Huskies win 11 NCAA championships and 59 conference titles. By her side through it all, head coach Gino Auriemma. Here's some of what she had to say about their 4-decade relationship.
40 years with Gino, that's longer than a lot of marriages last.
Yeah, you know what? I think the key is separate vacations, separate living, separate vacations. It's so funny because when you work with someone for so long, any time in our, probably, it still happens, but not as frequently, anytime he would start to get on my nerves, I would go recruiting. And so that's probably one reason our recruiting was really good. I would just go. And then one day we had like a little disagreement, and I stuck my head in the office and I said, I won't be here tomorrow, I'm gonna go recruiting. He goes, oh, you're just mad at me. That's why you're going recruiting. And I looked at him, it was like, it might have been 15 or 20 years in. I said, it took you this long to figure that out? Like, this has been going on the whole time. That when I get to this point, I need a break. You know, his family has become my family up here, and we've been through a lot in 40 years, both professionally and personally, and, you know, we both lost, you know, our parents and, you know, that kind of stuff. Having somebody that you trust to work with is really, really important.
And we'll have a lot more of my interview with Chris Daly this Friday night, November 1st. Keep that date on your calendar because that's when our next UConn Sports Special will take place, and it is all about Huskies basketball. From 7 to 8, it's a whole hour devoted to the men's and women's teams. Erin Connolly, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Well, before Friday, we got a day in the 50s and then a warm-up.
Yeah, 50s tomorrow, 70s on Wednesday, and then Thursday, our first alert weather day, given the likelihood of record warmth. This could be our warmest Halloween since records have been kept for the Hartford area since 1905.
Wow. All right, Mark, thank you. And thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.
My name is Carl Zuanelli, and I am the president and CEO of Nuovo Pasta Productions.